Hey guys, it's your lower class hero here, and I'm bringing you another Dragon Ball Super card game deck profile. Today we're looking at the Android 17 and 18 leader, aka Droid Cell Chain. I'm doing this deck profile digitally with DBS decks again. I have plans for a couple different formats of deck profiles, so be sure to let me know in the comments below what type of format you prefer to watch or listen to your deck profiles in. I also plan on getting gameplay for each deck profile, so with that in mind, let's dive into it. Alright, so first up, we got the leader card. It's Android 17 on the front, and on the back it flips into Android 17 and 18. They're both 10k power, but I'll tell you why in just a second if you don't know yet. On the front side, you awaken at 6 life instead of 4. So we're going to be generating card advantage quicker than other decks. On the back side, once you awaken, this has 2 permanents and auto. The auto is just draw a card. So you start drawing at 6 from the leader. The first permanent is Android 17 and 18s have a reduced cost of 1 in your hand. So you play out all your Android 17 and 18s for 1 less. And the other permanent is when you have 4 or less life, all of your Android 17 and 18s get plus 5,000 power. And that includes your leader card. So this is going to let you pressure your opponent with Android 17 and 18 cards that are cheaper to play and boosted power. Alright, then into the deck. For the super combos, we play the 4 stout-hearted Android 16s. This is just for extra hand destruction. So for example, if you play out the Cell Chain and then you have 3 of these in your hand, your opponent that has no cards left. Then we got the Cell Chain. We have Growing Evil Lifeform Cell, Evolving Evil Lifeform Cell, and Perfect Force Cell. We play 4 of each for consistency and 1 Vile Replication Cell. The Vile Replication at 5 cost, he's okay, but if you play him out using the Cell Chain to get him out, it's just great value. He's a draw 2, and you play out 2 Cell Junior tokens. Now, Cell Chain, you play out the 3 drop, and he lets you Union Absorb for free. You don't have to pay to do this. So you absorb the 17, and you get to go get one of the evolving evil life forms from your deck. When you get him out and play him, you get to KO an enemy's battle card, your opponent's battle card, and you get to draw a card. And then after you play him out, you can Union Absorb for free again, a Android 18, and then you go on to Perfect Force Cell. Perfect Force Cell, so the last one has double strike as well if you want to swing with him. We'll get into the talk about the strategies later, after we go through the deck. But Perfect Force Cell also has double strike, and he's at 30,000 power. It's just a crazy powerful card. He doesn't have barrier, so he is vulnerable, but it's a powerful card. His auto is where the value is at. His auto is when you play him, your opponent has to go down to 3 cards in hand. And that's huge, especially for some decks like Hercule that just draw and draw and draw. When you take them down to 3 cards, if they're not already trying to play around it, is very detrimental. Alright, so then after the Cell Chain, we got the Android package, obviously to support the Cell Chain. We play 4 each of Dreadful Duo Android 17 and 18. These guys, they're both 15,000 power for 3 drop, or for 3 energy. They both have critical, and they both have an effect that you can pay 1 green energy after, if the conditions are met. For Android 17, once per turn, if an opponent's battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less has been placed in the drop area from one of your skills, so for example the super combo discards or Cell or critical, which these guys have, you can pay 1 green energy and choose one of Android 18 with an energy cost of 3 or less from your hand and play it. So you're getting to play an Android for 2 cheaper than they normally cost, or 1 cheaper than they normally cost in this deck, which is still great value. And the Android 18 says very, very similar. If an opponent's battle card with an energy cost of 4 or more has been placed in the drop area by one of your skills, you choose an opponent's battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less and KO it. This is one of the... So this guy in your evolving evil life form cell. I have so much trouble saying his name. Those guys and this Android right here are your main KO power. Because your negates will KO too, but not only, they've got certain restrictions. Alright, so then after those guys, you have 2 Exterminating Energy Android 18. This is for more hand destruction, and especially if you're going with the Droid Droid Pressure package, this becomes a 25k double striker that your opponent already has to drop 1 card, regardless for. And we have 4 Limitless Energy Android 17. This is one of the best cards in the deck, in my opinion. This card's very hard to get past for a lot of people, especially if you can keep at least one on the field. It has a barrier blocker, 20,000 power that goes to 25,000 with the leader, and his auto, when it comes into play, you KO an opponent's battle card. So you're getting removal, you're getting a barrier blocker, and he's getting boosted to 25k all the time once you're at 4 less life. It's crazy. Alright, for the 1-drops, we've got 4 1-drop cards. We play 3 Newfound Power Son Gohan, because you really only need to see 1 of him. Once you take 1 of your own life, your opponent is normally going to swing at you at least once. And there's your 2 life you need to awaken, which is where that's the main goal you want to get to, is you want to get to 6 life. Getting to 4 life, it's great for that 5k boost, but you don't need it. So we really only need to see 1 Newfound Power Son Gohan. So that's why we play 3 of them. And then for consistency for the 4th one, 1 Dr. Gero, Evil's Inventor. He can go get you an android if you're missing a piece. Then we have blockers. We have 2 free blockers, Destined Krillin, and 2 Iron Hammer of Justice Android 16s. Your revenge blocker that's going to restand when he KOs an opponent's battle card on your turn. Then we go to negates. We play 6 negates. You don't need 6. A lot of matchups you can do with 3 or 4. So this is a sideboard option. But in the main deck we play 6. For a lot of reasons, like 1-2 swap, you want negates all day, and against like Hercule, you want to negate his leader swings, every one of them, if you can. So we have 6 in the main deck. 3 full power energy and 3 speedy surprise attacks. The full power energy, when you play that one, you're just going to get a battle card of cost 1 or less. So World Tournament decks, 1-2 swap if they swing with the Bardox, decks like that, you're going to get a lot of value out of this. And for the Go-10s and things 3 or less, we have speedy surprise attack. You have to pitch a card when you play this one to get the KO effect. But when you're looking down like 3 more Go-10 attacks with that same card, it's value. You're gonna do it. And then we go into Overrealm slots. We only play 3 Dark Temptation Toa. I know a lot of the droids decks are playing 4 for consistency and just for that extra one, but I found that in most games we really only ever play 2 of them, sometimes 3. Hardly ever play the 4th one. And so we only put 3 in here to make room for other stuff like the extra negates. But you feel free to put a 4th one in here if that's your playstyle. When we play this card, since our leader card is green, it's going to get a 5k boost, so it's going to go to 20,000. And your opponent has to drop a card from their hand. So again, more hand destruction. And this and it's free. You only need 3 cards in your drop area. You don't have to pay to play it. So you do sell and like 2 super combos in one of these, or sell, and there's so many options for hand destruction in this deck. And then we go into our other cards. We only have 2 other cards in the deck. Combo Killer Anilaza. This guy, I actually in all my playtesting I hardly ever drew him, so maybe put him at 3. I'm not sure, or that just counted as bad luck. But anyways, he's in here for more hand destruction, because on turn 4, like especially if you go up the cell chain on turn 3, this is just the perfect turn 4 play. If you're not getting pressured too much, or if you're still like 6 life, he ruins games for people. That's just a great hand. It really belongs in any hand destruction deck that's green when you can fit it. Alright, so we'll go on to sideboard now. This is really only relevant right now. I build sideboards every time I build a deck, but they really are very specific towards your meta or where you're playing. So take this with a grain of salt here. We have 2 more Dr. Gero Evil Inventors. This is for consistency with the 1-drop slot, so if you want to play 3 of each. And again, it's optional, and it's tailored towards the meta you're at. So you could put the 4th Gohan in here if you feel that belongs there. Or there's the 2-drop Gero too. And then we have the other 2 free blockers, Destined Krillins, to make that 4. It's really useful against like when you're playing against decks with Victory Strike or something like that where you can't negate it, or you need the blockers on the field. They're great. So we have the other 2 in here. And then for For the matchups like Hercule and other leaders that draw cards all the time, especially when they awaken, specifically, we have 3 Chilling Terror Android 17s. You're going to get him to play out him on turn 2 for 2 energy, and he's going to prevent your opponent from drawing cards when they awaken using their Awaken ability. Decks like Hercule and stuff, they have plenty of options to remove him. However, that is something they're going to have to get past before they can awaken, and with 3 in the deck, there's always an option to play out another one, or play out 2 that they have to deal with, and it's going to be great for stopping those leaders. Energy Guard Android 17, there's 2 of those. It's a great card, especially if you're gonna if the cell package isn't what you need. You can put these in there, and it's a 15k attacker that restands at the end of the turn, and it has blocker. So with androids at 4 or less life, it's gonna be a 20k attacker that you're gonna get to restand and block with. And then we have 3 expanding energy 17s, these, and 1 power stealing cell. These are mainly for the mirror match, because if your opponent takes you down 3 cards in hand with cell, and especially if they rip the rest of the cards out of your hand with the super combos or the Dark Temptation Toas, you can play this guy out next turn, hopefully, if you still have him in your hand. You play him out, and when you swing with him, he's going to bring your hand up back to 4 regardless of where you're at. And then the power stealing cell is just another option for the cell chain, and he's going to allow you to take a life and make your opponent drop a card. So it's more hand destruction options, and it's another awakening option. And last but not least, 2 time control Kurnoa. These are for your yellow leader matchups, obviously, because Shugesh is still a thing. It's still pretty rare from what I've seen, but there are some decks that still try to sneak Shugesh in there, and so we've got 2 time controls, or time control Kurnoa. Yeah, I have difficulty with these cards today. But that is the deck. It's mono green, except the 3 or sometimes 4 black cards if you want to put 4 of them in there. So you have no energy problem whatsoever in this deck. Turns 1 to 2, they're normally slow. That can be fixed with adding more 1-drops like more Jiros or a 4th Gohan, or create Android. And you can also, when you're playing 1-2 swap, you can just save that energy for negates also. So it's normally not a problem. You have diverse game plan with this deck. You can use the cell chain, or if the cell chain is not what you're at, or if your opponent's playing around the cell chain by staying around 3 cards in hand to where you're not going to get value out of that, or if they're just keeping an empty board, you can pressure with cheap and boosted androids, because you have so many in the deck that are great cards. Like these, the Dreadful Duos for 2 energy is just great value, and then you can use that 3rd energy if you get the effect off. And then you have the Limitless Energy, which is a barrier blocker. You have Exterminating Energy, which you're going to be able to play out for 4 energy, which is huge pressure. So you just have you have 2 paths really that the deck can take, and that's one of the things that makes it so powerful. Because if they're playing around, you have the cell chain as the main path, obviously, but if they're playing around that, you have the second path that you can go straight into. And then it has access to 3 different blockers that we play in the deck: the free blocker, the Android 16 blocker, and the Android 17 blocker. And they all have a special effect that comes with that blocker. The Destined Deed Krillin, he's free to play, and the Android 16 blocker, he has Revenge, and he restands if he KOs something. So your opponent is going to have to make sure that they take it out when they swing into it, or when they swing and you block with it. And then the Android 17, he's huge. He's 25k body when you're at 4 or less life, and he has Barrier, and he KOs something when he comes out. So just great value blockers in the deck. And then they have a lot of different, the Android cards themselves have a lot of different effects. You have Critical with these 2. He has Barrier. This Android 18 is Hand Destruction. So you're getting something different out of all the androids. And then in the side deck, you have ones that pressure and then restand, or you have an android that refills your hand up to 4. Not only draws, but refills your hand up to 4. And Chilling Terror, which doesn't let leaders use their Awaken ability to draw. So you just get so many different effects from these androids that really whatever you're going up against, you have at least one answer to it. And that's another thing that makes the deck so competitive right now. Which it is. It's got a good place in the meta right now. It can be played around. And these decks do have to be slightly tailored, or you have to sideboard wisely to compete against certain other meta decks, like when you're going up against Hercule. That's why we have the Chilling Terrors in here. And you just have to play the matchups correctly. So, for example, you go against Hercule, you negate his leader attacks so he doesn't get that combo ability on his turn, and you keep his hand size. You try to keep his hand size as low as possible. You swing with crit, and you play Chilling Terrors to hopefully try to stop him from using that draw ability, or at least delay it from the awakening. So that's it, guys. That is the Droids Cell Chain deck and a current Sideboard deck that may be relevant soon, may not. Just take this with a grain of salt. But this is the Droids deck profile right here. I'm going to have a lot more deck profiles coming soon. I'm going to make competitive lists and thematic, just casual lists, and they'll be in 2 different playlists. So let me know what you guys thought of this. We're also going to have more deck profile styles coming. So let me know what you guys thought of the deck and the deck profile style. Thanks guys for watching. See you guys next time.